Well, there's two reasons why I'm wearing my jersey from the University of Central Florida. Number one, as a scholarship catcher, playing from those early days as a kid all the way on through playing college baseball as a scholarship catcher at the University of Central Florida. I believe those were outstanding transferable skills that certainly served me well over a career that essentially starting May 18th will begin my 40th year in the biotech industry in various roles from representative to vice president in various segments and specialties. Second, started a YouTube channel, chrisjarmis.com, in which, as part of the many different things that we focus on, you'll be able to have anybody that's interested in becoming an outstanding catcher, improving their role as a catcher, whether they be younger kids all the way up through high school and even, I would say, college. They'll be able to get a lot of different tips, if you will, in terms of how to further better themselves. And even though it's focused predominantly on catchers, there are some other elements in there that are worth checking into. So as example, so there'll be a series focused on why catching. And aside from why catching, something that's going to be universal will be throwing and arm development, which is certainly critical to be able to work your way up from little league through high school to college in terms of throwing and arm development. Also, another important concept, PreHab instead of rehab. Rather than working and having all those injuries, there's a lot of different things you can do from a PreHab standpoint that we'll talk about, further enhance your development in terms of PreHab instead of rehab. Another key focus will be blocking balls in the dirt. Certainly, as you move up the ranks, it becomes that much more critical to be that much more successful as a catcher. Another one of the key things as well is fundamentally picking runners off of various bases. So that's a real good one, combination of a lot of different elements that come into play to be able a really good catcher and picking runners off base. I think one of those other things, even though we're talking about a long time ago, in many respects I was probably ahead of my time in respects as far as success cybernetics. So we're going to talk about success cybernetics and visualization in terms of being able to improve your game, and that's, again, irrespective of catchers. And somewhat parallel, talking a little about meditation, talking about nutrition, and also a segment on strength and conditioning. In looking at various colleges, particularly even for my son, we're in a situation where in those days, most every program you had a chance to visit with, they were talking about having them or anyone coming from a rising senior to a freshman in college to play next level college baseball to add at least 10, 15 pounds. So we'll talk about the nutrition, strength and conditioning, and also, of course, when it comes to catching, framing as well. And last but not least, although it's not a catching skill, it's a universal skill, we'll talk a little about hitting. Certainly the game has changed a good bit, and we'll probably have a special guest along the way to touch upon the latest as relates to the science of hitting and things of that nature. But nonetheless, you'll be able to have an opportunity to check out chrisjarmis.com to be able to see some of those various segments.